I don't have like 5 star on CodeChef, or I don't have some huge rating on CodeForces or something.
So hi everyone. We are starting with a new kind of thing in my channel, that is interview series. So today we have Harsha with us. So he's a software developer engineer at Microsoft. He's my colleague, but we have some different domains. He works on some great stuffs, and he got into Microsoft. So every college, students undergrad have some confusion around like how to get into some big companies and like Microsoft, and what they should do actually. So today we'll get some insight about different things you can do in college, as well as some tips from Harsha. And first of all, thanks Harsha for like giving your precious time to us. And if you have any question, you can comment down section, and I'll also providing some valuable links where you can go through. Okay, so we'll start with Harsha. Over to you, Harsha. So
Yeah.
we'll start with your introduction first of all.
Hi Rohan. This seems like a what? Oh, tell me about yourself kind of part in interview. So I basically hail from Andhra only, Andhra Pradesh. There's a city in Guntur, but I did my BTech from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, Coimbatore. So I did my BTech over there, and I was very much interested into ambient sensing. So basically, ambient sensing and IoT related field. So I was doing my research over there. I was a research scholar as well. I mean, research student over there. So yeah, that's it about me. I'm very much interested into um helping the community back.
Yeah, I'm seeing you like from a lot of time with your LinkedIn post and other. We'll be sharing that stuff in the in the
Sure.
last of this video as well. So we all have some different sets of college life, right? How was your college life actually? Into you were into totally like preparing, or were you into some different kind of stuff, hobbies as well, and things like that?
Yeah. So a day at Amrita would be probably like this. It's a very good, it's a very large campus at Coimbatore. It's far off from the city. So we would not typically rise in, but then we'll have a lot of chips, and there are a lot of birds and all. Like it's a wonderful campus to be in. And I was not like what you have said the second time, wherein I keep on studying or something. But either I would call myself like I wake up and I prepare for my college, and after that I go to my research lab. So my college ends at 5, so I go to the research lab and I'll return back at around 8 to my room. And then if there are any assignments, blah blah blah, something, I was like a typical student, like the last minute notes, getting notes from someone else during the day before exam preparation. I was the same. I was not the geeky stuff that you're talking about.
Okay, so everyone kind of notion like how to prepare for coding interviews, how are they like. So I have some set of questions that I'll be asking you, so that
Okay.
can might help people. So the first one is like how to prepare for these coding interviews. Applying is the secondary part, but first of all comes preparing. So how to like get best out of it?
Okay, let me tell you this. So generally, you would have a course on DSA, right? Like you have a course on DSA, and some people wait for it to complete. So there are people like me who never know about coding when I was first year student of BTech. So I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know, to be true, I didn't know what's a for loop is, what's a if loop is, how computers work. I have no clue about that. But I was very keen on it. Like I was into other domains. Like I was into video editing. I was into making VFX, like all those effects. I'm just starting out. I'm just exploring, and I found that the domain of computer science itself is a little bit interesting to me, and I was inclined to it. So I joined it. I went in, and I thought I would get into an IIT or an NIT, but then I landed up at Amrita because of some reasons, and then but I never regret that. And to prepare for coding interview, basically you don't have to. First thing you need to keep in mind that you don't have to come from a computer science background, so you need not have that. So second thing is that you can relax for the first year at least. So first, not relax in sense I'm not saying in the lazy manner, but get your fundamentals right. So first year is when they talk you about how the control structures like loops work, how do if loops work, like how do conditions work. So there are a lot of paradigms which work, right? So in the domain of programming. So that is when we start understanding like why do we have to write code. So what's the importance of coding, and why should I follow this as a career. So these are some things wherein you get introduced it in your first year, and on second year generally it happens in the second year wherein you'll have a course on DSA, and then it continues. So once you get into the DSA, there is a lot of things. The initial preparation would be getting well with the basics. You don't for an interview perspective, I'm not talking about the CP competitive programming perspective, but then for an interview you wouldn't want to solve a lead code hard problem for an interview. You could, need not expect that. So unless it's a research role, or unless it's a I don't want to say that CP is very much important for an interview. So the level at which your interviewer asks you the questions and the level at which you solve your CP problems are totally different. You can't combine this. But one thing I would like to say is you have to know how to pick a data structure, how to which algorithm to apply on it, and how would you do it optimally. So these are the three algorithms. These are three steps basically to solve any problem. So so that is why generally a lot of curriculums have it separated. They'll have a DS course, data structures course, and then they'll have analysis of algorithms. So wherein they talk about greedy and all that dynamic programming and all that approaches. So once you start getting started with the DS, you will know ki, "Arey yaar, okay, so this is what I should use when the situation comes up for this." So if I'm talking about a Facebook kind of thing, like wherein you have friends and those friends have other friends, so you will assume that okay, now this is a problem wherein I have to use graphs.
Yes.
So that thought process comes up only once you start understanding the real implementation of the data structure, and you will know that which data structure to apply to solve which type of problem. So once you are proficient in that, what I would like to put it straight that right from your second year, don't think about your end placement. So rather than that, you should understand that I'm learning right now about data structures and what significance does it have in my problem solving skills. So once you get to know that, it will be a piece of cake. Once you get to know about understanding which data structure to use, which to solve which kind of problem, then you will go into the next stage, wherein probably in first semester you will have this course on analysis of algorithms. So once you get on over there, you will be able to connect the dots backward. So then you will know, okay, this I have selected this kind of data structure, and now I'll be applying this sort of algorithm so that I will end up at the optimal solution. So I probably I can just use an linked list to solve an problem of graphs, but it might not be the optimal. So understanding that is the key to start programming. So and programming doesn't necessarily be CP. Some people choose a different approach. They go with web development, and that's a different stream, I'm saying. But every company, every fan company or GAFAM, whatever you say, the every big company or any tech startup also, they initially understand what is your problem solving skills. So for that, obviously, you need these two, right? So you need data structures and algorithms. So that's why whenever people ping me saying that, where should I start if I want to get an internship at Microsoft? Where do I start if I want to get an internship at Google? So the answer is the same, right? Like when you are in a second year, go with that, go with the flow. Like start understanding the basics of DSA, and then start understanding how you will apply it to a problem, and then you just start keep practicing, right? Like you go to lead code or you go to code forces, you start practicing, and then you become proficient. Practice makes it perfect.
So I'll quickly summarize these things. First of all, college doesn't matter. IIT and IT matters a lot, but what you do in college is matters, right?
Hmm.
And you don't need to be like super rocket scientist to get into these FANG companies, right? So you
Correct.
just practice matters and a right flow. And first thing is like fundamentals, getting your fundamentals clear, right? So these are like good tips from Harsha. Like you can grab this and like implement in your flow as well. So we'll be not talking specifically to Microsoft. We'll be talking about some FANG that people term out, right? So once you have prepared this, right,
Rohan, you should be careful. Fang doesn't contain Microsoft. You
okay,
should
yeah,
probably
FANG,
use GAFA.
okay, yeah, FANG plus M then, yeah. So what happens is like once you are prepared, right, many of like students have some tier 3 college have various confusion, like big companies doesn't visit their campus, how to apply and all. So once you have this basic fundamental clear, we have done kind of interview preparation and all, then how to about like go and apply to these companies?
Okay, so there are basically several programs that companies offer. You should look out in their careers portal. Since we are not talking specific about Microsoft, I have to tell it this way. But then, for example, taking an example, Microsoft has something called as engagement mentorship program, wherein they select people and then they will mentor them and then they will give them an interview opportunity and then they'll convert. So it won't be directly converted. I think we will be talking about it, like
Yeah.
how the conversion happens. So there are several programs, right? Like one is Engage program. You have one is MIP, my Microsoft Internship Program. So which is an annual event which happens, and it's called as generally it's called as Tech Set Go, wherein it's a nationwide hiring program wherein you apply for it. There will be an online round, and then there will be an on-site interview process. So it's not like if the company is not coming to your college, that's the end of it, right? It's not that case. So you generate, but definitely it takes some more time. Like it definitely takes some more effort from your side to go to the careers portal of various websites. So there could be if you want to just have some internship experience, then you can go to internshala. So those are some preliminary ones. But if you want to get into uh, an internship opportunity with some of the GAFAM or FAN companies, then obviously you have to go to their careers website. And you can also, if you are active on LinkedIn, pata chalta hai, like you will get to know. Someone or else will just post about it, or someone will comment about it. So networking, it's very important. So once you start with your LinkedIn, you will get to know more and more about it. And also it takes effort. I won't tell you that it might be easy for an NIT or an IIT guy, but if you go from a third type company, the company might not directly see you, but you can definitely make the company see you by your projects. I think we will talk about it again. But then I just today recently only I posted a post on LinkedIn wherein I was sharing a story about one of my junior who got a call from Microsoft despite of his CGPA being low. So there are stories like that. So there are just for Microsoft to mention. I am not sure about other companies, but then about for Microsoft, there is MIP, Microsoft Internship Program, and there is Engage Mentorship Program, Microsoft Engage Mentorship Program, and then there is Tech Set Go. That's an annual event which happens. So every year it happens at a frequency of annual. Like every year it happens, and then you know um,
People
around
come.
500 to 700 people they take in
Okay.
for
So
SDE internships.
yeah. So as Harsha told, networking. So networking, this is the part like I get to know Harsha like why he's here. So it was a part of my networking. So networking is very important. Reach out to people. There are many people willing to help, but people are not coming to them. This is the case also. So networking. Go to various careers website. Apply there. Uh, Getting rejected is a part of getting job, a good job, a great job. So this kind of thing you can apply. So we'll move on to like specifically to you, Harsha, like how you get into Microsoft. You applied, you did an internship or some other things.
Okay. So there is two stages of my this thing. So basically, one thing is getting an internship at Microsoft, and then the conversion of it.
Yeah.
So the first part is using the TechSet Go program. So I applied for Microsoft using the TechSet Go portal, and I have just logged it. Like I just registered for it, and then in January, like yeah, in the January we had an exam. So I gave it, and then there were three questions in that. So three coding questions only. There were no multiple MCQs or something like that. So it's all three coding questions, and whoever does the fastest and most optimally, they select it. And those questions are actually jumbled. Like not like everyone will get the same question. So it's like this. So shall I elaborate?
Yeah, a bit like you talked about DSA, so it's related to DSA questions or
Yes, yes. So from the start of the end, from the start till the end of my internship, like internship hiring process, every topic was mostly related to DSA and my projects. So initially they ask you to upload your resume, and then you go for onsite actually. But before that, you register for your TechSet Go online quiz, like not quiz actually, but online competition. There you will have three questions. For my case, at least I had three questions, and those were pretty easy. And then once you solve it, they call back to you and they'll ask you to fly to a nearest interview location. For me, it was Chennai. So from Coimbatore, I flew to Chennai, and then Chennai in VIT campus they had the internship hiring process. So over there, once we reached Chennai, there they had asked us to initially give a pen and paper round, so wherein they'll ask us questions like there are both questions like predict the output, find the errors, and also solve this question. So these three kinds of questions were there. You have to write it down, you have to write the algorithm down, in not the pseudocode, the actual code basically. Okay, so you have to write the actual code, and then you give it and they correct it. So in the afternoon they just correct and they get back to you and who are shortlisted. And then I had 3 rounds of interviews, and after those interviews I got the internship offer. Like after 2 weeks or so they let me know. And then there was in June, I guess, yeah, in May to June, actually May to July, 2 months of internship. After that they let me know that is it converted or not at the end of my internship. So
Okay.
they got me converted, and then now I am here.
Okay. So once you're giving 3 rounds, like so, okay. Once they are asking you question, right, in the interview, so how to approach that typically? You get the question, you solve it, and you give it, or you make some interaction and some kind of thing. Best practices for a interview round.
Yeah, sure. So this I call as the art of marketing, wherein you market yourself in an interview. So that's basically that is what it is. So once you get a problem from an interviewer, you definitely don't know if you can solve it or not. But keeping it to yourself and not letting them know what's your thought process is, it's a huge low. So it doesn't help you. Like they might be thinking that, are this he's stuck with the problem itself. So he will not exactly know where you are stuck, right? Even if he wants to help you, he need to know, okay, where is he stuck. Only then he can solve, like he can help you to move forward. But if you are keeping mum and you are just thinking in your mind, I'm just putting some random numbers in the paper, it doesn't help. So first thing is talking out loud. So once you keep speaking, then he knows ki, okay, you are going through this approach. Okay, you found out that this doesn't work, and then you are going to a different approach. So taking an example for my interview, in the first round of my interview, they asked me a question which basically wanted me to find a cycle in a directed graph. Okay, so
Yes.
that's what I wanted to do. So I was explaining him the typical approach, like that's a standard algorithm. So I was just explaining him like, okay, this is how I should do and all. So over there actually we have to maintain an array, and wherein you push it whenever you go, and again whenever you're backtracking, like coming back, you have to remove it from that array.
Yep.
So I was saying that array you can just add it and you can just remove it. Then he was saying, can you do it better? So I was thinking, array, if you want to find out, even if it's sorted, you need order of login for a binary search to work. So I was thinking what to do. And then he helped me saying that, is there an approach which is approximately big O of one, wherein you can search and you can remove. So then I thought, okay, acha, so that is what indexing is. So he asked me to use it in a hashed array. So basically hash everything and then store it, and directly use the hash key to get it, to get that. So that's like almost order of one. It depends upon the implementation, but then it's almost order of one. So he was saying, okay, instead of putting in an array and then searching for it and then removing it, you can actually put it in a hash set, and then you can remove it from that hash set. So that he came to know, because he came to know that I was stuck at optimizing that part. He came to me and helped me. So otherwise, he would not have helped me. He wouldn't even thought that am I thinking about an area, and is my logic even correct, right? So thinking out loud is one important thing. And second type of questions that you might get in an interview are related to your projects. So for me, they asked me like, what are the kind of challenges you faced in your while doing your project, and how you overcome that. Okay, I see that you are doing this project. Can you tell me what is the one thing that you're trying to solve by doing this? So what's the impact basically? So such kind of questions can come in when they are talking about project related questions. And also my project was related to meeting detection. Okay, so what we were trying to do is something like predicting the duration of a meeting using parameters. So that was my project. So over there, then suddenly he thought, "Acha, okay, talking about meetings, so let me give him a job scheduling problem." So in this way, when your resume has clear cut specifics on what you have worked and in what areas, then you can drive your interviewer to your areas of interest where you are strong at. So when you can do it, that's a skill actually, wherein you can draw the interviewer to your area of interest, and then those will though you will be better answering at those questions, right? Because it's
Yep.
your areas of interest,
Uh,
so it will be easier for yours.
Okay, so the end goal is like, making interaction with the who is taking your
Yes.
interview. Yeah. So once you have that, uh, you told about internships, right? So various kind of internships. So how you think about internships, like how important they are, and how many internship students should do in their college life?
Okay. I'll tell about myself.
Yeah.
I had zero internships. I had zero certifications. Okay. I don't do like, I just use it on YouTube and I just learn it. So I'm not a big fan of certifications, but okay, I have got my own backlash by saying this statement. So actually, when I initially posted about this, people were firing about me, like firing at me that, "Arey, how? What do you know? Some opportunities only open with internship, like with certifications like that." So like, chalo, okay, if you want, okay, you do your intern like certifications and courses, your Coursera, edX, anything plural site or anything for that matter. So my intention in that was to say that learning is important. Your certificate doesn't play a role. So they took it in other way, and it became a huge mess. What I wanted to do is about in my college life, I'm basically saying is to learn and then do projects. So do relevant projects. So basically, one thing was in my mind, saying the gist of what I want to do is I had to add credibility to my resume. So if I am saying that I learn HTML, CSS, I'm just starting with the basics.
Yep.
So HTML and CSS, I need to have some backing up for that.
Yep.
So anyone can do it, right? Even someone who is not at all interested in AI can just put AI as a skill and he can rate 5 out of 5. So, but what's the credibility to it? So, okay, now you tell me that in AI, what project have you done? So once your skills start backing up, like have backup of your projects. So it's like, okay, I have learned CSS, Java, and I have done a portfolio website or something like that, so you can go ahead, actually you can go and right now you can go click on this link and see my portfolio website. So that's
Yeah.
the confidence, right? So once you get that, you'll it'll add credibility to your profile. So um okay, I don't know what question you asked. Now I'm totally in a different way. uh, okay, you're asking about internships specifically.
Yeah.
So internships, when you come to internships, it's always better to have internships. I won't deny it, because internships add a lot of in the field experience,
Yeah.
so which you might not get in your college project. For an example, in my college project, if I had to a login system, I would just randomly do a hashing and then store it, and I'll just check it. If it's there, okay, you are logged in. Otherwise, it's gone. So now once you come into an internship, that kind of thing doesn't work. So what if the user's password is compromised? How are you going to blacklist that? So how are you going to cache it? How are you going to improve the experience by storing tokens and automatically logging in for the next time? So every time it won't be a great experience if you are asking for password, right? So how are you going to do it? The process of refresh tokens, access tokens, JWT, there are a lot of other things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that you won't probably do it at your at your school level or college level.
College level.
So that thing changes. So next time, imagine for yourself, you have done an internship at so and so company, and there they use this refresh token, access token, and all this JWT. So next time they went to an interview and they asked something about authentication. So imagine how impressed the interviewer would be if you don't just say that I will just hash it and I will just. Some people even don't do hashing. To be honest, they'll just store the password directly in database and they'll check it. So that's another way. But then, okay, at least saying that data security is important, and I'll just hash it and then do it. That is just normal, right? So imagine you explain to them that, okay, I have this and this architecture wherein probably I'm using an AID based authentication. Probably I'm using JWT based authentication. So you are explaining how it works and how I implement it in my own projects. How it is helping for auto logins. So once you get to know about this, the interviewer knows that, Array, this fellow has some experience and this fellow knows what he does. So again, for that thing, you have to internship. But some people do campus ambassador programs, where they represent a company or internship campus ambassador. So ambassador programs are nice to increase your network. So that's what I would say. But those are not necessarily an internship, right? Because you're not
Yeah.
working on some project or something. You are just, it's like a free publicity for that company in your college. So I'm not against campus ambassador, but don't put that as an internship experience, because once you start putting that, the interviewer knows what your level is. So your first preference is an ambassador program. Your first
Okay.
preference, you understand that, right? That's the psychology of the interview. So he will say
Yeah.
that, okay, this goes same with the projects also. The first project you mentioned in your resume is an to-do list app. So that's
Yeah.
your standard. So that will be the mindset of the, okay, he doesn't like. Also you will have a particular section on your resume where you talk about your achievements. So on the first of it, you just put it as, I won third prize in running competition, which is irrelevant,
Yeah.
and which talks about how much effort you have put to get into this job. And also what's your capability, right? Like that. Okay, so third prize in your running competition is your highest achievement. That's what the field that gives, right? So there are some few tips when you're writing a resume, wherein actually the resume, the interviewer will have your resume on the PDF format or something, and he will have a skim through, and that is how we start conversing.
Yeah.
So if you are starting on a bad string, like the initial impression, the first impression is gone. So if you definitely have an internship, that's a very good experience. It will add value to your resume.
Yeah.
But I won't say the same with certification unless you have a project backing up. So if you've done a certificate and then, but I'll tell you this. So both, there are two applicants wherein they have done the same projects. They have same set of skills, and one of them has the certification also. Then he will have an overedge. Like
It's,
he will have an edge. He will have an edge. But just having a certification as of it, what I feel, there could be other feelings, but then as of feel, I don't think it carries any value
so
unless
just to
it
like
opens another opportunity.
So just
Yeah.
to like summarize things like first internships. So internships are good if you're getting like experience, like you talked about, like logging system. So after that, when you are mentioning some skills on your resume, so if there is a, project backing up, it's a very good thing, right? So you talked
Yes.
about, right? So if you are mentioning like HTML, CS, and JavaScript, so you can have a portfolio website with a active link where interview can click and get to it, right? So that adds a edge to skill, and having a project is a great thing, right? So just having a certification doesn't help. You need to have, suppose you have done 5 certification in web development and you can't develop a portfolio site. That doesn't work that way, right? So yeah. So moving on, these were some based on development and resume kind of thing. So there is a word known as competitive coding that everyone
Hmm.
talks about in college, like how important they are in getting big companies. So people often say like you need to do competitive coding to get into big companies, or you need to do a competitive coding to there are some certain competitions as well as MICPC and some other as well, code jam and various other. So what importance of competitive coding in like college life, like?
It's basically the same. Like if you are practicing competitive programming, you're basically, it not necessarily win, but if you are also, if that makes you strong as a overall programmer, or overall capacity to solve problems, problem solving capacity increases, then definitely go with CP. If that's your interest, go with it, and you can go crazy about it. So that's not it will definitely have you on edge, like definitely, because I just told you, right? Every big company has at least one round which focuses about coding,
Coding,
right?
yeah.
So at that time, definitely, if you have a experience in CP, it might ease up things, because you would have done so many problems, and that interviewer might also ask a similar problem, so you would directly know it.
Yeah.
But definitely, that's not the only way to get into a big company, you know. So definitely, if your basics are strong and your thinking capacity is strong, and rather than CP you want to focus on web development, that'll open some new doors for you. So it's not necessarily that you have to do CP. But then what is CP? Basically, CP is going advanced on your DSA.
Yeah.
So, and also now on a higher scale, right? Like optimizing to the deepest, to the corest, and that is very much required in. So many people have this notion that people don't use CP, not exactly CP, but not even closer to what CP demands in their regular job. But I'm not a great fan of that statement, because every big company deals with thousands of records and thousands of basically it's huge, the infra is huge. So for anything that happens, for example, let me share you an experience in my 2 months internship where what I had to do, wherein it was a graph problem. Basically my 2 months internship was optimizing a graph problem. So I would not definitely call so I can't tell the specifics because it's
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
open.
That's
Yeah,
yeah,
I can't tell exactly what we done, but the 2 months internship focused on me solving a problem, not exactly the entire 2 months, but then the major crux of it is solving a graph problem so that people are benefited. So that way I don't think that like I don't have like 5 star on code chef, or I don't have some huge rating on code forces or something. Some problems which are great, and I concentrate on medium, easy, and a few of hearts. And I what I used to instead of me trying to solve everything, I thought that okay, in this area what are most probable questions. So I go to my Geeks for Geeks, and there I'll see the previous year questions, see the
yeah,
level of difficulty in that. So obviously I know that they can't ask a graph question which is hard in an interview of 30 minutes
yeah,
and ask me to code it as well. So either they'll ask me to explain the logic, or they'll ask a tree question and they'll ask me to code it, which I failed miserably because in my interview they actually asked me to code a graph problem. So don't exactly follow that. But then that graph problem was not too hard; it was easy only.
yeah,
So uh, in interview, it's in interview the question was like if there is a pond and there are ducks in it. So one of my areas of interest was digital image processing. So I had it in my resume. So he had to club between DSA and digital image processing. He was like, there is a pond and there are swans in it. I take a picture from the top. So how would you count the swans? Something like that. Okay.
okay, yeah.
So he wanted me to apply both dip is basically digital image processing as well as DSA in it.
Yes, yeah, skills.
So yeah, so that is how they combine your areas of interest and comes up with new questions. So that's the one thing of having very relevant areas of interest. Your resume might look very fancy if you have a deep learning, machine learning, AI, NLP, anything, but unless you have a backing up, again that goes as if it's saying that I know everything. I only created the Bing search on Microsoft. So it's like saying that. But unless you wouldn't have been stepped into it. So unless you instead of saying that I developed Bing, you have to explain ki, okay, this part of Bing is what I developed, and this is something related to AI. And so I basically my area of interest is AI, and I developed certain functionality on Bing. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, again, it comes back to the point of having backup and adding credibility.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So to sum up, like if you have time and you are passionate about communicating, you should definitely do it. It enhances
Yes.
your problem solving skills. But once you have interview in 2 to 3 months, right? It recently comes that we have 2 to 3 months. On Hacker Earth also there are some platforms other as well. So you come like in 3 months you have this particular interview means coding round. So how to prepare in that 2 to 3 months of span if anybody gets it, right?
So obviously, one thing to go directly is to see the previous year questions of that
Yeah,
company specific, so that you know what the company asks. So I know that basically people end up with DSA in second year, and third year will be a whole set of different question, like different courses, and fourth year again they have to come back to that that league wherein you are super pro in DSA. So they generally have 2 to 3 months. That is the actual question. They generally have 2 to 3 months to again brush up their concepts and get back on full swing. So obviously, if you have already done it, I would suggest you keep coding. Don't stop coding for an year and again expect you to be on full swing. So once you keep doing it regularly, so if there is a method called as spaced learning, wherein you keep doing it with some interval, and then it
yeah.
becomes like your habit and you can easily catch up things. So if you have 2 to 3 months, definitely go for GFG, Geeks for Geeks, and then see the previous year question papers and solve them. And apart from that, you can also you have to obviously understand the skill of marketing yourself, as I have told. So that thing is also important. Apart from that, you can solve some medium to hard problems on lead code or code forces. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. So just to sum up, if you have 2 to 3 months, you can go to like previous year question and get insights of like how the question were asked or what is the difficulty level and all, right? So we have a notion of where when I was in college or you were in college or everybody is sense, right? So you are doing competitive coding and somebody else is developing Android app and getting published to the Play Store, or iOS app getting published to the App Store. So you get a kind of notion that yeah, he have a output as a result, like a app or something. But when you're doing competitive coding or you're learning DSA, you are not seeing immediate results, right? A app or something else. So how to go about that balance in college life, that between CS, competitive coding, DSA, and development, that web development or any sort of development.
Okay. Uh, a chair does not stand on a single pillar, right? So it has four pillars. So that's in that same way. If you are completely on competitive coding, there are definitely some things you can show up. Probably if you are doing it competitive coding for so long, you can show up saying that ki, you have so much rating on code forces, or you have so much stars on code chef. Even that adds value. Those are not useless actually. Okay. So once you start doing that, and there are certain certifications like DSACP, like code chef offers data structures certification course. So those are some certifications wherein which direct, so these are kind of certifications are not learning, right? These are like proving your skill in it. So such certifications are definitely helpful. So now once you are in CP, just CP, I think you have to go for it. And but I won't recommend just going with CP. Try to do some projects as well side, because obviously your CP will only know about your problem solving skill. And once you know the problem solving skill, it is very easy to learn a framework, or it is very
Yeah,
easy to get familiar with a language and develop something. So
yeah,
once you're done with it, just publish few apps. Or say for example like Rohan, you can also have a start a YouTube channel, and you can share about that. You can increase your network on based on CP also. And then interviewers will see, okay, he's having some credibility. And LinkedIn, in LinkedIn you might receive a notification from a recruiter saying that you have an interview. So it's not exactly that if you're concentrated only on CP, you might have chances. But then I would like to recommend that also do some projects, so that they have some, it's not like entirely you're opening code chef, or you're opening code forces and doing solving problems. Also you are also working on your side projects, your pet projects basically.
yeah.
So I also, along with CP, just keep a keen eye on development as well. And if for someone who is just into development, beware of it, because you might know JavaScript, HTML, CSS, but you might not know to solve a graph problem. Then that will become an issue. So that's what I'm saying. Like an interview, or definitely there will be a round which will be based on DSA. So
Yeah.
at least get started with the basics, and try solving it. So there should be always be a balance between these three.
Yeah. So to sum up, in development you get end results like app and all, but in competitive coding and DSA, you can get end results at stars on code forces or code platform like that. And you can obviously show in your LinkedIn or anywhere like you are doing well. You have like div 2, div 3, or div 1, that criteria in code forces or code safe, right? So that also adds credibility. So while doing development, suppose let's move to development a bit. So while doing development, there is a term known as open source, where people come in and contribute to the community. So what's your view on this open source thing?
Okay, I
Because
won't
there are
tell
a lot
anything
of
about it.
thing
I won't tell
coming.
anything about it, but I'll share an experience.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
uh, Not mine, but my juniors. The
Yeah.
same guy which I posted about in LinkedIn. He has a beautiful project. It's called a ScoopML app. It's a website that he has deployed it, and there are thousands of users on it right now.
Oh,
And he's already monetized it. So if you want to use it, so it's like you give a data set, and it will find out a model, and it will output a model for you. So it's that kind of a project. And it's not like it doesn't happen all of a sudden, right? He would have also he has already contributed to various other open source software. Like he has, now right now there are, even if, for example, Microsoft itself, they are very much pro to open source contribution. So they are actually building an Edge browser on Chromium. So everyone starts to love, like everyone loves open source as it is. And I am a huge fan of Blender, which is an completely open source system, like software. And definitely once you start contributing to other projects, you can, one thing, you can show up it in your resume and your GitHub profile. Once you link it to your resume, and you make a nice readme page about your GitHub profile. Actually, I made a session on that. So how to like at the on the gist, like once they open your GitHub profile, it will show the key, okay, these many stars have happened and these many stars he has got, and these many people uh, like he has contributed to these many repositories and all that. So once you add, okay, one more thing, engage program, my juniors, 14 of them got an internship opportunity from Microsoft. And the only criteria for many of them is that their GitHub profile. So there is an engage mentorship program wherein these people, there will be mentors from Microsoft who will mentor those students. And then at the end of it, they give an internship opportunity, like in not internship opportunity, interview opportunity, wherein for some people they didn't ask a single question of TSA. But they, since they have a very good GitHub profile, they told that we are directly offering you an internship at Microsoft. So that's the level of importance that OSS has, because that person has contributed to a lot of other repositories. um, yeah, so it might open new doors for you.
Yeah. So end goal is helping others and contribute to the others and make a GitHub profile. First of all, GitHub is very important. It's a new kind of resume, you can say, for the web, right?
Just as how
Uh,
LinkedIn is, right?
yeah, LinkedIn, GitHub. So this kind of make networks and fork some projects and build upon that, do a PR, this kind of thing. You can find a plethora of tutorial on YouTube how to do a PR, how to open a GitHub LinkedIn, and how to do this kind of thing. You know, so ultimately everything comes up. There are various things to do: assignment, college courses, DSA, competitive coding. We talked about open source. There is a term known as time management. So how to manage between these things. So what a
Okay.
view on time management.
You open LinkedIn, you will find a post about this. You will LinkedIn is full of time management. People are doing great on LinkedIn. So okay, I whatever I will follow, I'll just tell you. I follow something called as Pomodoro. They sound cliche, but then yeah. Pomodoro technique is amazing, wherein you'll have 25 minutes of focused work and 5 minutes of break. You will do three
Okay.
such sessions, and then you do a 15 minutes break, long break. So at the start of the day, I just make note of what are all the things I need, and then I will assign some pomodoros to it. So pomodoros are not nothing but basically pomodoro is a tomato kind of thing. Okay, so you put like 2 or 3 tomatoes on between your task. Okay, and once you finish that task, like once you start acting on that task, you will cross a pomodoro. Okay, like that you how it depends on how many. First, at first you will know ki how much estimation it takes. Okay, so you will say, okay, I want to add this functionality in my portfolio app, and it might take 2 pomodoros is like a 1 hour, right? So 25 plus 5, 25 plus 5. So if I'm saying that 1 hour I'll be working on it, and then you start working on it. So once you start working on a pomodoro session, you cross it, and it's like cut with everything else. Once you crossed a pomodoro, it means that you're working only on that task, or not on nothing else. So this way, you will finish pomodoros, and if you want the third pomodoro, you will add one more. So it's like empty circle, and then cross one. And if you want more pomodoros, you'll just put a cross. You won't put circle. By this, you will know that key how is my estimation. Am I taking more time than expected? So that is one way of estimating work of yourself, and then you'll be saying, "Arey, now if I cross it, I'll." It's like I am making a mistake, right? Like I'm doing a wrong estimation. So
Estimation.
that psychologically has an impact, and you won't waste time between that 1 hour, and you might even end up doing it in half an hour. So that can also happen. So that pomodoro is a wonderful technique, and there are so many eat the frog technique, wherein if so eat the frog, basically the technique is that if you want to eat a frog in a day, you will eat it the first thing, that's the first thing you do it in the morning. So it means that the biggest task goes in the first. So
Okay.
if you have out of all your tasks, whatever is the biggest and most important, you do it at the first. So generally what they do is, just for their satisfaction, they do the smaller task so that they'll have more ticks on them. So then they'll go for the ending task, and which might end up postponed to the next day. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's more important, right? So that's the eat the frog. So wherein what is the major task, most required task, you will do it at the first, and then you will focus on the remaining.
Okay, great, great. So we talked about many things like this will really help people out there, right? And you are also working from home as like me. Everybody is working from home, and since you
Everybody.
are at Microsoft, yeah, since you are at Microsoft, we have like different domains, but what your day in a life, what are the kind of things you do? Not doesn't need to go deep, like it's all confidential after all. But what a day in life when you wake up, have a exercise, breakfast, and work. What is your like day in a life of a software engineer we call?
Okay, I'm not the typical kind. Like generally, coders mean that they stay late at night and late at morning. So, but this lockdown, I am trying a different thing. I was like that when I was in college, but then when I joined over here, even in over there in office, when I was there in office also, it was normal only. But in lockdown, I'm trying a different thing, wherein I just wake up at around 6:15 in the morning, and then I get up and I get ready and I just do a half an hour of exercise, and then I'll start like after the tiffin and all finishes, and then at 10 o'clock I'll start my work. So we have a stand-up call wherein we just discuss, like every team member discuss what happened yesterday and what he will do today. So once it's done till 2 o'clock, I will have some Pomodoro sessions, and meanwhile I'll take that long breaks as well. And once after that is done, after just after lunch, I won't feel like to go back right away, right? So I try to see some YouTubing, like I'll just see what's going on. uh so I don't have a Netflix account. So i I'll just use Prime. I have a Prime account, so Prime and Hotstar. So I just go ahead, and right now IPL is happening, so there's a lot more responsibility. So that's happening. So basically what I want to say is I'm not like sit, do and go. I'm not that kind of person. I mix up with fun in between. Then I if I want to, I'll just ping up my friends and I'll have a video call with them. So that all happens after the lunch, because after the lunch the mood will be in a different state. So once that is done, I'll just again go back to work, and for around till 5 o'clock I'll work, and then if there is a need beyond that I'll do it. Otherwise I'll just shut down and I'll just go back.
Oh, great,
That's
great.
the typical.
So yeah, so it was like a great session, and it was great having you.
Yeah.
So we'll end up this session here only. It's kind of for about 45 minutes, and you are great talking to you. Giving your valuable time to my channel, and it was great to have you. Okay, so
Yeah, sure.
we are also planning to have some other session, to a specific topic like open source or only DSA or only computer programming. But getting time is very much important. So we need to manage between various things.
Mhm.
So as we are doing this, like if you will get time in future, we'll definitely help you out. So we are just there to help you out, right? Reach us, like comment down in the section. I'll posting the link of Harsha's LinkedIn profile. You can look at his post to LinkedIn. Great content. Everything you will get regarding computer coding or time management or anything stuff. He post great content, right? So I'll posting that. Apart from that, I'll be also giving mine as well. Post us question, text us. We have like not much time to that, like replying everyone. So you can look at the post, but if you get if we also free some times to reply to people. So
Yeah, probably
I
we will
believe
do
that.
an AMA session
Yeah,
wherein you can ask any question that they have. We can do a
yes,
AMA session, ask me anything session,
yeah,
and
we
then
can
that
also
would
do
be
that.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, so ping us like in our free time. We will definitely try to reply all of them, right? Otherwise, make connection. Like there are thousands of people like us, willing to help, but people are not reaching them out. This is kind of stuff I have also seen, right? So reach out to people. We talked about connections, right? Make a LinkedIn profile, make projects, reach out people. How they do things. If you're reaching out 10 people, even if one of them replies, it's a great thing. You can ask him like how things work, how to get in, how to do things like that now. So I'll be bringing of this kind of session also in the later phases as well to help you all out, right? So thanks, Harsa. Thanks for giving your precious time. Again, I'll be posting like link in the description. Go follow him, check out his post, text him if you have any question.
Sure.
or I can like guarantee that his post will definitely help. You can get cleared all your question with his post only, right? So you can reach out to me as well. I will definitely try to help, and in the future we'll be keep doing this session. And most important thing is like people tell subscribe to our channel. I will not tell that subscribe to my channel. This was just for your help. But post your questions. We are happy to help, right? We also have many free time willing to help people. We have also some learnings regarding this. I also learned many things talking to Harsha. I didn't know many things. So this kind of it is a two-way process. So reach out, follow Harsha, follow me, reach out, and we'll happy to help. So we'll end this session here. And any tips like last things you want to add, Harsha, to this like session?
Continuity is the key. That's it.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah,
That
thanks Arza for
summarizes.
yeah, thanks for giving your precious time.